See Fat Joe in the thumbnail, people. I got paperwork from him suing the guy Tyrone Dixon, and also paperwork from Tyrone Dixon suing Fat Joe. Very messy, very ugly stuff. We can't read all of this stuff, people, but let's go over the highlights. Let's look at some of the exhibits. Which one are we going to do first? First one we're going to do is Terrence Dixon's lawsuit. Okay, cool. So this was filed in June, right? Was it? All right. You see Terrence Dixon, aka TA, plaintiff, versus Joseph Antonio Cartagena, PKA Fat Joe. And this is what I said earlier, people. Wow. Pistol Pete is in the lawsuit. I didn't realize that until this morning, despite the clip that I uploaded yesterday with Fat Joe and Pistol Pete, because I know that they was accusing Pistol Pete of threatening this guy, the plaintiff, but I didn't know that Pistol Pete was also named in the lawsuit as a defendant. So Peter Pistol Pete Torres is in there. Richard, Rich Player, I don't even know who that is. Erica Marira, I don't know who that is. Sneaker Addict Touring LLC, Slate INC, Roc Nation. This is where we saw Alex Spiro jumped out and said, no, I'm submitting a motion right now to take Roc Nation out of this lawsuit. Roc Nation has nothing to do with this. I don't know. If so, we're going to see in this paperwork why they included Roc Nation. John Doe's 1 through 10 and Jane Doe's 1 through 10. Jane Doe's 1 through 10, I assume, would be the alleged minors that they're putting in the suit, as well as ABC Corporations 1 through 10. Jesus, he's got a lot of people that he's targeting, and Big Roc Nation as well. He's got big shit being targeted. He ain't playing. He ain't playing. Now let's see. This is 157 pages, people. So him and his lawyer put something together. 157 cases. Civil complaint, jury trial demanded. Okay. Peep this. Trigger warning. This document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. Additionally, there are graphic details of sex trafficking and other criminal activity orchestrated by the defendants. I've never seen paperwork that started off with a trigger warning. Chat, that is new to us. The fuck? All right, let's read some of this intro and skim the preliminary statement before we start looking at the exhibits. Plaintiff Terrence Dixon, aka TA, by and through his undersigned counsel, TA Blackburn Law, PLLC, brings this civil action against defendants Joseph Antonio Cartagena, professionally known as Fat Joe, Pistol Pete, Torres, and then the rest of the names that we just read. Roc Nation is in there, ABC is in there, cool. Asserting civil claims for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, and related violations under New York and Florida law, including unjust enrichment, quantum merit, whatever word that is, fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. This action arises from a deliberate and sustained campaign of exploitation, wherein an intentionally recognized entertainer manipulates and abuses a creative partner through an organized network of enforcers, associates, and shell companies. Defendant systematically engaged in coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion against plaintiff Dixon, all intended to enrich defendant Cartagena and his associates while deliberately suppressing, silencing, and erasing plaintiff's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were foundational to defendant Cartagena's professional success and personal brand. Now, that first piece that we read is where you start talking RICO related shit. All right. This is why Alex Spiro came out. You're saying that we are aiding Fat Joe in a whole elaborate alleged sex trafficking scheme, amongst other things, and Roc Nation is in that. Now, Jay-Z is just fresh off of getting accused of some shit. So here comes Mr. $3,000 an hour. Alex Spiro says, no, we got to get Roc Nation out of this. This once we already got damages of $190 million of when Jay-Z was going through that bullshit. Now you're going to do Roc Nation. Well, what's the first face that you think when you think Roc Nation? It's Jay-Z. Here they go right again. Roc Nation and Jay-Z. All right. Preliminary statement. So calculated and sustained multi-layered exploitation of creative partner. So we've seen that. So the mental distress, the whole stuff about his creative process of him saying that he wrote some of Fat Joe's stuff, the emotional distress stuff, that's his own civil stuff. I really am paying more attention to the minors and the sex trafficking stuff and how it ties into other companies that you're alleging. That's big stuff. Royalties he's looking for. I think there's breakdowns of some of this stuff in here. Let's skip this and start to look for some of those big pieces. All right. Plaintiff intentionally excluded from formal payment systems. W-2s are falsely inflated and reported to the IRS to create a fictitious paper trail. Defendant Cartagena personally collected $600,000 and $200,000 in cash at different times from the UP NYC retail stores. Roc Nation received 10% of all revenue from Cartagena's businesses, and numerous financial records were fabricated or withheld to avoid paying plaintiff the royalties and compensation he was owed. You got evidence to some of this stuff? Because heavy fucking claims, people. That's why I said yesterday, I said, hey, checks and balances, it might be time for us to read the paperwork. Heavy claims. Heavy. Further confirming the illicit nature of defendant Cartagena's operation, employees at UPNYC, a small sneaker and apparel store, routinely flaunting luxury goods, including G-Wagons, Range Rovers, Rolexes, and designer clothing, despite earning little more than New York's minimum wage. They're using calculators. They got receipts. We're talking taxes. We're talking about payouts at this point. We're talking minors at this point. We're talking a web of multiple companies and smaller companies underneath sneaker stores. We're talking money laundering at this point. They have some heavy stuff early. Defendant Cartagena earns an estimated $60,000 per month in royalties, at least $20,000 monthly in streaming revenue, none of which has ever been shared with the plaintiff despite his significant authorship and performance contributions to the monetized song. So that's big. The reason why this is big to me is because y'all got me out here assuming that this man that's going into court is only a hype man. That's what Fat Joe and from his fiery statement, as well as Fat Joe's lawyer, are saying all this is a hype man. Okay. You give me no reason not to believe you. All this is a hype man. This guy's claim is naming revenue that he's saying he should be a part of, ongoing monthly revenues from works and contributions artistically that he's put into this. Does he have evidence that he wrote some of these songs, or that he was a big part of the creative process, or what? You know what this makes me also think about? Hey, you artists out there, man, I know y'all be in these studios with your homies, 5, 10, 15 people. Sometimes you turn these studio sessions into all out parties, listening parties and hangouts, and you bring the girls in, you bring the drugs in, you bring the liquor in, whatever. Keep in mind, right, with shit like this right here, the fourth homie that you got over here that you think is tight with you, if you guys part ways 10 years from now and you're still making money off of the songs that he was in the studio with you, if he threw you an alley-oop, if he said, yo, you should change this word, yo, you should change that word, or whatever, y'all on y'all Instagrams documenting some of this shit, yeah, be careful. Because I don't know how legally some of these people can actually state claim. Because if there's no paperwork saying that I wrote this, I am on the actual album's foldouts of I produced, I co-wrote, I added, I'm this, I'm a sub-producer. If you're not on any of the write-ups to the songs, then do you have evidence? And if you don't have evidence, and if you are a disgruntled person, then you just are the friend in the studio that has your reasons 5, 10 years later on because maybe you're fucked up and you're saying all that time that we were spending together when you was creating this shit, I was a part of it. I was a part of it. It's a verb type shit, B. It's a verb type shit. That 456 that Holla posted, I was a part of it. Real shit. Real shit, man. We see it. We see it in the world. In one documented instance, defendant Cartagena pocketed a $30,000 Live Nation performance check for All the Way Up tour money that was rightfully allocated for plaintiff's contributions. Cartagena used those funds to pay off his back taxes owed to the IRS, as confirmed by a witness who was part of his management team at the time. Plaintiff was not only exploited financially, but also subjected to a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exhibitionism. What? We know what an exhibitionist is, right? Forced exhibitionism. Is this guy about to come into court and say that he was forced into a fucking freak off? I didn't read this yet, people. I'm doing this live with y'all. I just skimmed to see if the fucking the exhibits were in here. That's all I did. What? Is he about to say that Fat Joe is doing freak offs, B? Did we just read that? Okay. And surveillance-based humiliation, including being compelled to perform sex acts under observation. Yes, that's what he's doing. Being filmed or directed by defendant. Yes, that's what he's doing. In the presence of others. Yes, that's what he's doing. He's going freak off. Tactics designed to control plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure silence. This is what they're saying Diddy did. Well, oh, I got the footage. You better comply. This is another freak off again. Accusation. Forced freak off. Was we ready for this? I wasn't. Right? Dog. Was we ready for this? They learned from Russell Simmons, the daddy, allegedly. Oh my God. What the fuck is going on in today's hip hop industry, B? What is this? I'm starting some ish by accident. I'm getting jumped by the chat. Oh, I don't know. This is something else. What the fuck is going on? We're about to have another freak off trial. Okay. The sex-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture of dominance and humiliation enforced by the defendant's associates such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. Shit, fuck a state line. How about crossing seas? This guy is putting in Miami on Market America's corporate yacht and at its mansion properties. The defendant orchestrated repeated orgies, the creation of fraudulent pay stubs, and use of W-2s while filing 1099s, and the concealment of payroll fraud for enterprise gain or textbook RICO predicate acts under mail, wire fraud, and tax fraud statutes. The scheme furthers the enterprise's coercive structure and is directly tied to financial exploitation. People, the public got us feeling that all this is about is a disgruntled hype man that's saying, I was fired and I want some money. This man complaint is deep and dark and well past just money. What the fuck is going on? Plaintiff, female dancers and minors. Defendant used his status as a corporate sponsor, celebrity influencer, and financial control to compel plaintiff and others into degrading sexual performances, often while defendant watched, recorded, and directed the encounter. Yo, this is Diddy Part 2, accusations and paperwork. How come I don't see any media platforms bringing this up? Once again, got me out here reading headlines thinking that this is just about a hype man that wants some money because he got fired. Spooky. Spooky shit going on. Okay. These incidents occurred under conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendants' management entourage. Yet no intervention occurred, supporting the interference. The inference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. Defendant also used social media burner accounts, including BitG and Dr. Z, to issue um, veiled death threats and witness intimidation, such as "You love your family, right?" Question mark. Oh, that's a threat. Fall back in 48 hours. Number three, we let you live. Oh, these statements were interpreted by plaintiff and his legal team as part of a broader scheme to intimidate, silence, and obstruct plaintiff's participation in this case. These acts constitute violations of that particular code, witness tampering, interstate threats, and fall squarely within the pattern of violent racketeering activity under the Civil RICO statute. In retaliation for asserting his rights, Roc Nation and defendant Cartagena jointly filed a baseless lawsuit against plaintiff and his counsel. The complaint, riddled with procedural defects and legal inaccuracies, was filed for the sole purpose of intimidating the plaintiff, diverting judicial resources, and chilling his First Amendment right to seek redress. So that definitely happens in this world. You can have a countersuit specific scenario, or you could have, you sued me, a verb, for Max Out 3. And then I sue you for all this other shit that's not about Max Out 3. And then Averb would say, the only reason he sued me for all this other stuff is because I'm suing him for Max Out 3. That could be false. That could be true. Either way, you have a lawsuit to fight, right? You have a lawsuit to fight. We're going to get to Fat Joe's side, and then we're going to see if it feels as frivolous or if it's, as heavy as this one. We'll see. Interesting. Very interesting. The retaliatory lawsuit was intended not to prevail on legal merit, but to create public confusion, burden plaintiffs' counsel with discovery costs, and dissuade other victims and whistleblowers from coming forward with evidence of defendants' enterprise activity. Now, one thing financially, that definitely is a reality as well. You sue me, saying that I stole your cell phone. I sue you saying that you burglarized my house. And once again, regardless of how strong or weak my case is, you got to spend money on my case, right? So I may be trying to stifle your financial resources for your suit against me while you also fight the suit that I'm putting on you. That's what they're explaining here. All right. So now I got to pay for this discovery process and legal representation and litigation for this shit that you put on me, when it's really you guys just trying to stifle what I'm bringing to the light about you and Roc Nation and Pistol Pete and all these other people. That's what they're claiming there. I don't know if that matters. You can't get that case thrown out with an accusation here. You can use that to strengthen your case, but that case is that case. That's going to be up to that clerk, that court, that judge. I don't even know if they're filed in the same district. Right. We'll take a look at that. But DW, let me know if I'm right about that. All right. This conduct violates conspiracy to obstruct justice. Oh, so if you're saying that them doing that is violating this actual legal code, if you can prove that, then you will get some help on your side. But I'm pretty sure when we get to Fat Joe's paperwork, he's going to have enough stuff in there, considering the type of strong legal representation that he has, to not make his claim or his lawsuit look like, oh, this is just a one-pager thrown together because I'm suing him. So good luck landing the conspiracy to obstruct justice. because he's suing you as well. I don't think so. And if I scan real quick, Fat Joe's is a 25 pager, which is going to be more than significant by the time we look at that. I'm pretty sure. Okay. There's a lot going on here. These actions not only deprived plaintiff of at least 600,000 in projected royalties, but also ensured his exclusion from future licensing, catalog valuation, and digital revenue derived from streaming platforms. Jesus, man. The enterprise's financial arm further engaged in systematic laundering and tax evasion, as evidently by repeated cash distribution. Disbursements of over 200,000 and 600,000. This is what I'm going to do real quick before I get to the exhibits. Let me search this document for, let me see if minor comes up. Comes up 43 times. I'm going to do minor, I'm going to do sex trafficking, and then we're going to do the exhibits. All right. Minor comes up 43 times, starting on page 5 of 157. Plaintiff, female dancers, and minors. Defendant used his status. All right. We saw that one. Minor Doe number 1. Shit. Minor Doe 1 is a 16-year-old Dominican girl residing in New York. In exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, defendant would get oral sex and other sexual acts performed on him by Minor Doe 1. On one occasion, while driving in New York City, Minor Doe 1 asked the defendant for money to pay for her cell phone. Being notoriously cheap, the defendant claimed to be broke. This upset Minor Doe number 1, who began yelling, cursing, and screaming. Plaintiff begged defendant to pay the minor child's phone bill, which was less than $100. Minor Doe number 2. Yeah, I also just hit enter. It's going right to the next one. Oh my goodness. Minor Doe number 2. Minor Doe number 2 is a Caucasian female. She's not a United States citizen. The defendant began having sexual relations with Minor Doe number 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Defendant flew Minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Due to Minor 2's body being adolescent and not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. This is a lot of traceable type of details that should have receipts to it, people. What? Minor Doe 2 eventually left defendant and is now married to a professional athlete. What the fuck is going on here? Minor Doe 3. They got exhibits in here for Minor Doe 3. Minor Doe 3 with her friends. And they're blacking her. They're redacting her face. I mean, they're not named. They're does right now. And allegedly, if they're still minors, I can understand why they're redacted out in the paperwork. Minor Doe 3 with her friends from high school, the same time she was being trafficked by defendant. Minor Doe 3 is a Latino female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16. According to plaintiff, defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife. In recorded conversations, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. The defendant sees no shame in his depravity towards children. Defendant Cartagena has demonstrated a disturbing lack of remorse or discretion regarding his predatory behavior. Okay, we skip down here for entry number 21. Defendant's transportation and sexual intercourse with these minors constitute violations of the following New York State, Florida, and federal laws. Yeah, we know laws against dealing with minors. Based on plaintiff's direct observation, as well as defendant Cartagena's remarks, this phone was routinely used to coordinate whatever that is, clandestine meetings, reserve hotel accommodations, and manage travel logistics associated with sexual encounters, often involving vulnerable individuals, some of whom plaintiff knew or reasonably believed to be minors. Fuck. Interstate sex trafficking of minors is on there. Agent Doe coordinates discreet domestic and international travel, books, airline tickets, private charters, and hotel accommodations, including for minors, maintains confidentiality of enterprise movements and illicit activities, minors, and to plot attacks of rivals. Transportation of minors is in here. The psychological grooming of these minors is in here. Exploit minors often under the pretense of mentorship, access, or career advancement in the music industry is in here. These minors were transported across state and national borders by or at defendant's discretion. Trafficking minors and use of social media and telecommunications. They got a name here, Ariza or whatever, Azara, whatever LLC, in the name of defendant's minor daughter. Specifically, defendant ordered two minor teenage boys in Miami, Florida, to assault a man who had walked through a private circle in which defendant was standing. So that's guys or boys. Before making her one of several minors in his circle, in his inner circle. That's the flying of underage piece. This is a Europe example, from US to Europe. These minors were frequently cut off financially or discarded when they became non-compliant or no longer served defendant Cartagena's purposes. The power imbalance, false promises, and conditional access to basic needs creative coercive dynamic, especially for minors with limited alternative support. Oh my God, there's so much. There's two more. Transportation of individuals across state or international borders for illegal sexual conduct, including minors. The mother initially rejected the request, stating that her daughter was a minor. Defendant Cartagena insisted that he only wanted to talk and chill with her daughter in private. The mother obliged, and the minor child went with defendant Cartagena to his Market America sponsored hotel room. There's a lot of shit that's, if it's true, supposed to have receipts to it. Pictures, flights, get your body done, pay for your cell phone bill. There's a lot of shit. Hey, people like Averb. Peep this. He does that a lot too. I never have those accusations on me. Never have if you have those type of accusations on me and you still talk to this person, boom, 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 boom. Jay-Z still had those. He had those accusations on him. Did the world stop talking to him? The NFL took the podium and said, as far as we know, our relationship is still intact. Right? It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Right? Now, don't get that twisted. I don't ever want these accusations on my name. Ever. Ever. But it happens to people. Is the world going to stop talking and supporting Fat Joe because of what we just read? Averb. Are you going to stop watching and supporting? Are you going to start talking shitty about Fat Joe before he even has his day in court? I'm curious because these type of accusations go on people that we respect. Keep the same energy. If I come back to the top of the document real quick, do we really need to do sex trafficking after we just did the whole minor one? There's 32 entries in here for sex trafficking. Meets the definition of sex trafficking, example of sex trafficking, established sex trafficking, New York sex trafficking defined, law, including sex trafficking, narcotics, distribution, and criminal conspiracy, orchestration of sex trafficking of plaintiff TA. This guy is saying that he was sex trafficked. The guy in the thumbnail is saying that he was sex trafficked, people. It says right here, number 2, sex trafficking of plaintiff TA. That is his alias. One big difference here is it's a man. Like all right. Interstate sex trafficking of minors. execute ghost transactions, intimidation of rivals, engage in sex trafficking and customer manipulation through UPNYC, sex trafficking by coercion, and each coerced sexual act constitutes a violation of federal law. Sex trafficking of minor. Oh my God. We'll go through the whole 32 for what? Let's try this again. Let's go back to the top. Let's take a look at some of the exhibits. Oh my God. This is the best way I feel to not have to read 157 pages. Pull out the big stuff, read the big bullet points of the accusations, check out the exhibits, and search. Anybody that I don't mind if somebody uses this tactic. If y'all start seeing academics do it, it came from here. I'm just joking. But real talk. Let's go to the exhibits. Oh, wait, no. I gotta scroll up because they're going through the people that's named in the suit one by one here. Let's read Pistol Pete's. 56. Pistol Pete is an individual believed to reside in the Bronx, New York, and Miami, Florida. Pistol Pete serves as a defendant Cartagena's primary enforcer and street-level operations captain, responsible for executing violent directives, enforcing internal discipline, and maintaining order within Cartagena's enterprise through fear, intimidation, and physical assault. Acting at the direction of the defendant Cartagena, Torres coordinated and carried out acts of violence, threats, retaliation, and coercive control against those perceived as disloyal, including plaintiff. So he's saying he went at you too. Okay. Pistol Pete involvement in the enterprise's retaliatory operations is corroborated by audio recordings and witness statements, which document his efforts to orchestrate an ambush against plaintiff and his use of coded enterprise language such as pound him out and catch up to issue violent orders on defendant Cartagena's behalf. Torres was not peripheral actor, but a central figure in the enforcement hierarchy, entrusted with ensuring obedience through violence and reinforcing the enterprise's culture of silence, dominance, and fear. You know what's really crazy about that read, people, is we know the reputation of Pistol Pete. Doesn't mean he's guilty of this stuff, but we know his reputation. We all were there during the DVD era of the car KAR, the Kill All Rats and all that. And there's a million DVDs and videos of him portraying what they're trying to display here. And I wouldn't be surprised if they use some of that stuff against him to try to paint who he is. DVD era, interviews, blogs, tweets. Wow. Oh, man. Here's the Roc Nation piece. Let's read this. Roc Nation is a Delaware LLC with its principal place of business, 540 West 26th Street, New York. Roc Nation manages defendant Cartagena's business affairs and, upon information and belief, has taken control over his music catalog, publishing rights, and intellectual property since 2017. Plaintiff alleges Roc Nation, 1, received at least 10% of all income earned by defendant Cartagena and his companies. 2, appointed a director who directly supervised plaintiff. 3, acted as a joint employer by exercising control over plaintiff's labor and reporting structure. 4, aided and abetted the diversion of plaintiff's royalties, the concealment of authorship, and the retaliation against plaintiff and his counsel through a baseless lawsuit. Those are not, that doesn't read, people. Let me jump on the big screen real quick. Oh, I was on the big screen this whole time. My bad. For anybody that couldn't read the small print. That doesn't read frivolous. Like, these read like big bullet points, things that you would have some type of alleged, I don't want to say evidence, but backing to. This don't feel like Alex Spiro could just get this tossed like he did with the Jay-Z shit. You're going to have to go through discovery. That could be a third one that we might need to look at now. Alex Spiro's motion to get Roc Nation withdrawn from this claim. Just reading that piece alone, how do you just if I'm a plaintiff and I come with that, and if I got evidence constituting those type of bullet points, I don't care how much you get paid per hour. You're not walking into court and just getting Roc Nation pulled out of this. A judge needs to see this. We need to go through discovery for this. We need to go through the process about this type of stuff. We might make it to trial over this stuff. You ain't $3,000 an hour. Hooray, Alex Spiro. We know you powerful. You the man. But you ain't just ripping Roc Nation off of this shit. Not from what we're reading. Damn. This shit is 10 times than the headlines is making us believe. All right, what's this? Why is Cuban Link in here? The defendant repeatedly referenced what happened to former Terror Squad artist Cuban Link, who was physically assaulted and slashed across his face, leaving him with a permanent nerve damage and visible scarring. Before slashing, after slashing. This reference was not abstract. Defendant pointedly reminded the plaintiff of the physical consequences that could accompany disobedience or separation. These statements were made in moments of dispute or tension, particularly when plaintiff raised issues of compensation. He's saying he came to the forefront like, yo, y'all owe me some money, man. And nigga said, for lack of better words, you see what happened to Cuban Link. Now, the Cuban Link slashing is all documented. I don't know how much Fat Joe has addressed some of his Cuban Link stuff online. Absolutely. But Cuban Link has done multiple whole interview breakdowns, painting the whole shit like a movie of them in the spot. And he thought that him and Joe was a little cool. He walked up. He said, Fat Joe hit him. He fell back a little bit. He got up. He then hit Fat Joe. Fat Joe fell back a little bit. All of a sudden, somebody came behind him and slight. I remember it. This DVD era shit. I remember it. And if you got proof that niggas is threatening you, like you see what happened to Cuban Link, this shit is what's the next exhibit? The Minor 3 exhibit. What's the next one? Oh, his album. One of Fat Joe's albums. In relevant part, defendant says, now she was only 16. I had to nurture that. Give her some growth. Waited till I touched the cat. Told she going to have to work if she going to get ahead. Then she drove me berserk when she gave me some head. She told me that she learned that from a porno flicks. I said, Miami, stop talking, just suck on his dick. I ain't say her name yet, so let's say she nothing. Now watch me turn this nothing into something. Get it? Miami, get in that kitchen. This is free base. Just cook it till it's hard, then cut it in eighths. Take the trip across town to see True. Just get the money. Don't these lyrics. So bugged out people how we listen to lyrics sometimes, and we just listen to them. Sometimes we even rap along. You hear some of the wild shit, like people like Biggie has said in his lyrics. I like you so much, I'll do what to your father? What? And it's like later on, it's like, what did he write? What did he say? Remember the one they was getting at Drake for? He was like, this shit feel like teenage fever. And that we shouldn't either. Allegedly, right? But they're doing that here with Fat Joe's lyrics. Now, she was only 16 is his lyrics. Why would you write that, Joe? Why would you write that? How about this? You know how you could flip this? He's saying that he needs money for writing your shit, right? Be like, he's the one that wrote this. It's not a laughing matter. I'm not even trying to clown. This is, why'd you write this? Till I touched the cat and gave him his head. Y'all want this reference again, people? Let me start this by asking a question. Did times change where being with minors was more accepted and today it's just looked at as like disgusting and did times change? I have proof that times might have changed. Did anybody flip out over the scene in Belly? She's on the phone with DMX's wife saying, he said, I'm not old enough to fuck yet, but at the age I am currently, I can give him some head, right? Wasn't that the scene? And then they had this scene where she topped him off in the car. DMX, rest in peace, DMX. A underage minor, right? Allegedly, it was the portrayal of a minor, right? Yeah, Vita. It was Vita, the rapper, that was a part of Murder Inc., right? That played that role of the underage little lollipop sucking little underage minor, right? She said to DMX's wife, I'm not old enough to fuck yet. Tommy said I can't fuck yet, but we could do this instead. Where was the outrage? Where was the outrage during that belly scene? Why didn't we go crazy? Get ready. Our member says it's called selective politicking. That is a genuine question, people. When we who was behind that? Who was behind that belly? When that was written in to the movie, when that was then acted out by DMX and Vita, when that was then watched by us, the masses, even years to come, why did we not go after that? Why did we not say, this is disgusting? What the fuck? Nobody was mad at Tommy's character for that, right? And this is why I say, what year did this album come out? Hold on, this Fat Joe album. Do I have it? Which album is this? Let's make the point, people. This is what's the name of this album? Make Money, Me, Myself, and I. All right, hold on. When was Fat Joe, Me, Myself, and I album released? November 14th, 2006. November 2006. When was the movie Belly released? 1998. That's a decent gap, though. That's 8 years. That's an 8-year gap. Is that a 8-year period? I'm dead serious with this hypothesis here, people. I'm dead serious. Corrupt's ex-wife says something. I'm dead serious. Was there a period in time where, for whatever reason, the hip hop world was more receptive of fucking on minors? Is there more of these depictions like in Belly or alleged lyrics here that they're pulling off Fat Joe's album in this time period? Like, let's say 98 through 2006. Is there a period where we're getting these lyrics and people's rapping this shit? Actually, this would be a defense for Fat Joe if that was the case. He would say this is what hip hop was doing. And I'm not trying to defend these type of lyrics. I'm dead serious. This is a real question. Did we slip as a culture, as a people, as a hip hop industry? Was there a time when it's cool to watch this shit with DMX and Vita and it's cool to rap this song? Did we slip and say, right now, I'll give you another one. Remember there was a whole period where it was dope to be a Blasian, Asian mixed with black girl, like everybody was on Blake. Hip hop has these little moments where we popularize things, a certain type of woman, a certain drug, Molly, for example. You know what I'm saying? Well, we popularize things and accept certain things, but was there a time where the hip hop industry was gloating about being with minors? Chat says yes, unfortunately. This one here from chat says, yes, times definitely changed because if you grew up in the hood, you seen the older dudes pick up shorty from his, and that was the norm. The older dude coming through with the car, picking the little shorty up from high school. That's true, man. That's true. Times changed. We have our answer. Yes. Yeah. You remember, I was definitely chasing the black Asians for a minute. You remember? That's a dope thing about this podcast, man. I'm an 80s baby, so I got the history for y'all. and my memory is good, so I got y'all. We not from current to forward. No, no, no. I got y'all. I'll remind y'all. Remember the Blasians? Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm gonna clip this whole thing. There's a lot of takes in this particular clip that we need to what's this? Defendant Joe covers up Andre Dre, Christopher Lyon from Cool and Dre's statutory R of K Rose. There's a lot of shit they're putting in here, people. K Rose was a 15-year-old singer signed to Epidemic Records, a label owned by Andre Dre. This does seem like somebody that was around Joe a lot. All right, let's say all these accusations are false. He's got a lot of stuff that you would have to be in the inner circle. They say sometimes the person closest to you can hurt you the most, right? For these type of reasons. Wow. Wow, look at this. He's talking about grooming here. Dre began grooming K Rose. This name now. This ain't no dough they're putting. They're putting K Rose, which is an artist that was previously signed. M coordinated retaliation, the attempt by Enterprise members Pistol Pete and Rich Player. What's this? Text messages, phone call? What's this? Oh, this is a recorded conversation. Allegedly. Pistol Pete, I called you to try to get his number. Percy, all right. And I called him and he don't want you to have his number because he said you ain't been calling him. What you calling him for? Pistol Pete. No, that's fine. He right. As long as he keep himself away, as he don't come around the hood because he can't come around the hood, it's all good. My loyalty is to Joe. My thing is crosstalk. If he violated Joe and you fuck with Joe, I would expect and think that Percy's loyalty is to Joe, according to Joe. Percy, my loyalty don't got to be questioned here. Never. Not one time. You went on the internet and violated Joe. Nobody pounded you out. What are you talking about, Pistol Pete? Nobody ever violated Joe. What are you talking about? Percy, yes, you did. You went on the internet and violated Joe. You violated Khaled. You forgot? Did you forget? Pistol Pete. Khaled, yes, but never I violated Joe. Percy, you violated Joe too, bro. I might remember some of these videos. I gotta go back and do some of that homework again. You violated Joe too, Pistol Pete. It was Khaled that I was talking about. Percy, don't do that. Pistol Pete, it was Khaled. I could do whatever I want, Percy. No, I'm telling you, you could do that with them, bro. But don't talk shit like that, Pistol Pete. No, I'm just telling you because I'm expecting your loyalty to be toward, and then crosstalk. Percy, my loyalty is not in question here, bro. Pistol Pete, Purse, listen, I'm only talking to you, Purse, because Joe was like, yo, Nas crazy. Purse loyalty to me, nah, give him a call. I'm just telling you because I respect. This is what I'm saying as a fan base. I'm not trying to tell you, yo, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Percy, yes. But you're trying to tell me to line the nigga up. That don't even make sense. I don't know who thought in their mind that I was going to do that. Pistol Pete. No, I'm just saying no. Listen, if a nigga violate anybody, that my nigga is going to bring it right and where you at. I ain't gotta lie. My nigga is going to bring them right to you or right to me. My hood is going to bring it right over there. Why? Like they always done. Why? A nigga get dealt with accordingly. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Percy, yes. If it was somebody other than TA, Pistol Pete, going to kill, and then I guess it's unaudible. They can't understand it. Percy, listen to me. If it was somebody other than TA, yes. But TA was part of the family, bro. That nigga not. He's going through what he's going through. And maybe he shouldn't just the way he did. And I told him, hold on, you gotta listen to me. I told him, hold on, Pistol Pete. I put the nigga on. He never gave me $1. I let him fly, Percy. He didn't have $1 to give you. What are you talking about, Pistol Pete? No, he had plenty, bro. He was getting paid thousands of dollars when he went overseas, bro. He lying. Percy, he wasn't getting paid no money when, and then they can't understand that piece. Pistol Pete, yes, he was, bro. Yes, he was. Percy, you wasn't around. I was around. You wasn't around, Pete. Pistol Pete, Purse. I know Purse. Percy, you wasn't around, Pete. I was around. You wasn't around. Remember, you wasn't around. You wasn't here. You was in Miami, bro. So don't do that, Pistol Pete. Listen, when I'm asking about my money, trust me, a lot of shit came up. Oh no, we giving that nigga this amount and money, and I used to talk to TA. TA, then they don't understand that piece. Got right now. They just gave you this amount of money, he said. Yes, but I had to pay this. I had to pay that. I couldn't do it. I'm only getting paid 1,000. It's hard because I have to pay my rent. How could I get you your 20%? Damn. Please, Jeff, give me a break. I was like, all right, TA, I understand that you need it. He was getting paid more than what he said to you all. Purse, he is lying. He told me, Percy, there's a lot of lying going on around here, bro. That's why I stay out of that shit. That's why I stay out of everybody's business. But right is right. He feeling how he feeling. Pistol Pete. Yes, but he's wrong. He's not right. He's wrong. Percy. Is he wrong for doing how he doing it? I don't know if he's wrong because he did holler at Joe. Joe curved him. Joey want to hear nothing he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Then now this is his option. This is how he feel he needs to handle it. Is he right for doing it that way? I don't totally agree with him. I tried to stop him. He wanted to do it his way. I can't do nothing about that. Don't ever tell me bring a nigga to you. I'm not never doing that. I'm not never doing that. Pistol Pete. No, I'm just saying though. Listen, I know I will. If a nigga violate Percy and he around, what? My nigga, you violating who? Oh no. Get in the car, bro. You're going to deal with Percy right now, buddy. Percy, yes, but Pistol Pete, I don't give a fuck, nigga. I'm a real nigga from the trenches for real. I'm not going to let him violate my nigga, Percy. He only think he said he want his money for his music that he wrote. I didn't see him say nothing about Joe paying off and all that. How do you know Pete? You wasn't there, Pistol Pete. You know how a nigga be a studio person because I have done it. I've been to studio where I have had give a nigga a line or two. Uh-oh. Yo, say this. This is a nice line right here. All right, so that is he's talking about like I've been there, I've done that type of shit as well. Don't try to act like you now co-producer, co-wrote the fucking song. Pete, you wasn't there, Pete. You wasn't there, so can't talk on what you don't know. Pistol Pete. A lot of us wasn't there. Percy, I was there. Pistol Pete, what? You was there for one step. Percy, I was there every time. Pistol Pete, not for that one time. I was, all right, how much is this going? I'm not reading any more of this shit. This is a long conversation. Oh, it's still, Jesus, look at how long this conversation. Thank God we stopping now. Look how long this shit is. Look at this shit. It's most of the damn shit. I wonder if Percy, the way he's answering, like you wasn't there, you wasn't there. No, you're lying. I mean, don't tell me to bring TA to you. Allegedly, it almost sounds like he's already in cahoots with TA the way he's talking to Pete. And you got to ask yourself, this is TA's lawsuit. How does TA and his legal team come in possession of a recorded audio conversation between Pete and Percy? I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there. While actively campaigning for former Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign, defendant made direct threats to plaintiff from his Instagram burner account. All these exhibits, text messages. I'm going all the way. Remember that. Do you know what I know? Yo, you crazy. It's up. I got you. I own you, nigga. LOL. You think so? LOL. But I'm not. Let's see. Huh. Damn. So this is what I mean about Joe's come up. Up there with vice president candidates and whatnot. Joe came up. He came up. All the Roc Nation stuff or whatever. Seems that Pete is somebody he's taken care of and kept around all these years. I don't know what Pete does for a living outside of you know. Um I don't know. I don't want to assume nothing, but Joe came up. Joe came up. Look at this. Look at these exhibits. Joe, look at this with the mayor. Joe came up, man. He came up. Bring him out. Make it happen. Hurry up. Don't need to lift a finger. Biggest in the game. You're not stopping nothing. Everyone willing to do it for me. A lot of text messages. Oh my God. Oh my God. This feels like how we had to upload the big U shit. Like all this paperwork. Oh, this was what I mentioned earlier. They laid it out like a crime organization with Fat Joe at the top. You see this Roc Nation company underneath. I guess you would then try to interpret them or perceive them to be an enabler, right? BDO accounting agent. Underneath that, you got Pistol Pete down here as an enforcer. You got this guy, Richard, as a business manager. You got Erica down here as an enterprise officer. You got JB over here as an enterprise officer. Down here, you have a shell entry. You have a money laundering hub. So that's why you keep reading UPNYC. You're saying that they are responsible for laundering the money. You got the sneaker addict store that we read earlier, a shell entry, financial nodes, which is whatever this bank account. This is big, people. Not only is this freak off shit and coercion shit and sex trafficking and threats, and this is a big deal. And I had no clue from the fucking headlines that have been flying around. This is why I say, hey, I got my eye twitch got that yesterday. I said, checks and balance, man. It might be time for the paperwork. It's a big deal. Fat Joe investigated for SA. This was back in 2010. Fat Joe was investigated for SA back in 2010. It was on TMZ here. They have this in the as an exhibit. I don't remember that. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. Very, very big deal. I told y'all this was gonna be a long stream. I knew it. Because I knew we had to do the Diddy segment. I knew I had to do my day 10 Averb, and then I knew we had 2 pieces of paperwork to go through for the Fat Joe shit. I knew this was gonna keep me here for fucking 5 hours. I knew it. But I'm committed to y'all. Jesus. All right. Not only is this a smaller lawsuit claim, it's only 25 pages. The other one was like 150 something. But I'm definitely tired of this case today. I'm so tired of this case today. So let's skim. I'm sorry, people. All right. Now, this is the reverse direction. This is Fat Joe now as the plaintiff against Terrence Dixon, Tyrone, Blackburn, and TA Blackburn Law, PLLC. Jury trial demanded. And here's on the same guy that represented ASAP Rocky, Joseph Tacopina. All right, introduction. Plaintiff Joseph Cartagena, who is professionally known as Fat Joe, is a world-renowned musician, yada, yada, yada. We know that. Worked Cartagena as a hype man and supporting performer who increases audience engagement with interjections and chants. Talk about trying to belittle somebody. Cartagena compensated Dixon handsomely for his role, and Dixon never complained or expressed any dissatisfaction with his pay or other conditions of his work, nor could he. Cartagena began working with Dixon in approximately 2006. Dixon eagerly accepted the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a part of Cartagena's team. He also accepted the generous compensation Cartagena paid him. And throughout the relationship, Dixon enjoyed the prerequisites of touring, luxurious travel, and other fringe benefits of being part of a world-renowned musician's team. The relationship ended amicably in 2019. So what do you got? 4 plus 9, that's 13. You got 13-year relationship. That's a lot. It's around somebody for a lot of years, a lot of time, see a lot of things, hear a lot of things. 13 years. Okay. And so additional compensation over these past 6 years. Then something changed. In an obvious money grab, all these years later, Dixon claims that he should have been paid more. He claims falsely that Cartagena recently blocked him from getting outside fighting or funding for a record label, which was the last straw that caused him to dredge up decades old supposed grievances and issues, none of which were aired contemporaneously, and more importantly, none of which are true. Now, I have a initial perspective on that where it's just like, let's say you guys did y'all 13 years together through 2019. Okay, we're here in 2025. So they said that's why the last 6 years, where was all of this? Okay, 2019, guys split ways. You get to 2025, now here comes your claim. So what this is almost showing, and even though this is Joe's paperwork, that part almost reads like you guys made a mistake. It almost looks like, okay, for the last 6 years, from 2005 back through 2019, when you guys were separated, right? He wasn't kicking up no dust, which is a indication within itself. Why now? I agree. But it's saying that damn near allegedly he's being blackballed, right? There's been other Terror Squadians allegedly that have complained about blackballing post being around Fat Joe. Did Sunkiss? Was it Sunkiss or was it who was the one that was singing? I forget. There's been people that have said blackballing type of shit on Joe's name before, but this guy is saying the last straw was when I went to go get a deal, or whatever, and because Fat Joe is really an entity in the industry at this point, we got to give it up to him. You know, he's got weight. He's got Roc Nation behind him. He's got all these deals going on. He's up here meeting with the mayor and sitting next to presidential candidates like Kamala Harris. And Fat Joe is not a small guy in the industry. Okay, people, let's catch up. Let's catch up. Why is Fat Joe news? Fat Joe is not a little guy. Okay. So if you have a problem with a Cuban Link or Tony Sunkiss or whatever, just allegedly, and they try to make some moves, and Fat Joe says, "Oh no. You know what a form of blackballing could be? I've had people reach out to me before and say, "Hey man, I just want to tap in. You know, I was talking to this person, and I don't know. I know y'all got something going on, right? Now, if I say fuck that person, don't do nothing with that person. If you're talking about continued occurrences like that, that's where the terminology blackballing comes in, especially if it happens across multiple different parties. You feel like, okay, this person stopped something, that person stopped something, this person said no for those reasons over there, this company over here don't even return my calls, this company over here, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent pretty much admitted to that, allegedly, when he was talking about Slow Bucks, right? He said he fell out with Slow Bucks, and then he was on the phone, I think, allegedly with the distributor, and he told the person, he said, "Listen, I'm into it with this person. Now, you could be into it with me and keep distributing that product, or you could stop working with that person, and me and you is good. Take your pick." And then the person is just like, "Shit, I don't got no problems with Slow Bucks, but you know, this 50 Cent. I'd rather maintain my relationship with him." And then this person stops distributing Slowbuck stuff, allegedly. And Slowbuck says, "What's happening? What's going on? Hey, I can't fuck with you no more." Why? Because of 50? 50's blackballing me, right? In so many words, 50 Cent admit to blackball, right? His words, it's on video. Like, what do you want me to say? All right. If that's allegedly what Fat Joe did here, and this guy says, "You know what? I went my separate way, but you guys, now this is my last chance opportunity right here. You guys stop that? Nah, fuck that lawsuit time. And I want to overcharge for what they did to Cold Crush." This, if that's allegedly what happens, sometimes you gotta know how to let grudges go. This person does a little deal over here. It's not going to affect you, Fat Joe. This is still alleged. I'm just saying, like a hypothetical. Sometimes you gotta let shit go. You know, let that person go over there and eat. You know, it ain't gonna affect me. Oh, oh, oh. Um, Thus, instead of speaking to Cartagena about his post hoc grievances, Dixon made countless posts on social media containing a torrent of wholly fabricated, grotesque, and scandalous allegations accusing Cartagena of unspeakable acts such as pedo statutory R and SA. For example, Dixon published shocking falsehoods on Instagram, including that Cartagena was dating and having sex with a 16-year-old girl. So, yeah, all the stuff that he started posting, I wonder if that's going to help or hurt his case. I mean, if there's truth to the stuff that he's posting, it helps, right? If he's lying on Fat Joe, they're going to use that against you. We're going to sort that out. And that other paperwork, there's a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Blackburn continued to threaten Cartagena on a daily basis with many evening and late night, early morning email messages to his counsel stating things like, "We will report him to Homeland Security." He was really going at him. That's possibly why allegedly Pistol Pete was just like, "Hey, man, bring this guy to me." allegedly. He was going at Fat Joe a lot, posting stuff like that online. It's only a matter of time before publications and media pick this up. I could see Fat Joe allegedly want to shut this man the fuck up. He's going on this whole tour posting alleged R stuff and minors and whatnot. Shut this guy up, right? It's almost like if I'm Fat Joe, I'm looking at that like that's like the Cassie lawsuit. Sooner or later, you never know if the feds turn their heads and say, "What is all this scrambling about? What's going on down here? What's all these state lines and sex trafficking and minor stuff talking about?" You know what? Let me go high. Let me go put together some investigators and let's spend the next 6 months building a case on Fat Joe. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But allegedly, Fat Joe shouldn't approach stuff like that with violence. You gotta find another way, man. I don't know. Maybe pull a Diddy, pull up with the money counter, and you just pay the guy off or something. I don't know. Unless there's zero, if you feel there's zero truth to anything, whatever, then fuck it. Then you can't extort me. There's zero truth to what you're saying. I ain't going. But if you feel like there's any smoke around the fire that this guy's bringing your way after being around you for 13 years, yeah, you might have to cut him a check. You might have to cut the guy a check. It's obviously too late for that. Oh, man. Plaintiff Joseph Cartagena, known professionally as Fat Joe, is an individual and a citizen and resident. Defendants are. This shit is a little. All right. Jurisdiction venue. This court has subject matter jurisdiction because this matter conversely exceeds the sum value of 75,000. Okay, factual background. Cartagena is a world-renowned music. Okay, we know. You got any exhibits in here for me to look at? After years of working together, Dixon fabricated claims that Cartagena engaged in unspeakable acts. Okay. Dixon falsely accuses Cartagena of SA. In June 2010, this shit has been going on for a while. For his part, and Dixon never complained in Cartagena or upon information and belief to anyone about the supposedly horrific acts that he witnessed. You didn't start telling on him until the money dried up, huh? You pulling the Cassie. So that's the thing. It's like two things could be true. Like Diddy could have beat the shit out of you and did some shit, but you also could have went broke and then decided to sue him, right? Like two things could be true, you know? And I don't know how much, if I'm Joe's legal defense, I want to spend so much time defending the fact that all we're dealing here is with a disgruntled person. Well, we read in the other paperwork, you're going to have to defend the actual accusations. They got people, they put the feds allegedly in touch with the minors, the Jane Does, the Does, right? Disgruntled, he possibly, multiple things could be true. He possibly is disgruntled. But is there any truth to the stuff that he's saying? He may have turned a blind eye to a bunch of bullshit. He may have gotten broke and said, okay, lawsuit time. But is there any truth to what he's saying? Multiple things could be true, people. Oh. One, the countdown. One, the countdown is on. Tell that fat man to be smart. Yeah, he was threatened. I could believe that early on that he was threatening the shit out of Fat Joe. Dixon outrageously accuses Cartagena of SR, statutory R. Okay, there's exhibits in here, some text messages. Joey Cap doing his pedo dance. These are all the stuff he was posting on social media about Fat Joe. This is why Fat Joe started the lawsuit first. This is why he said I'm suing him. This is why this guy was going on a tirade, posting this shit about, yo, you're a pedo, you was with minors, you was this, you was that. Once again, I've already had legal counsel in a different situations. It's like, if you're going to speak on past situations or if you're going to post things, make sure you have the evidence to back it up. So when you see me posting stuff like this, and I wouldn't want to be at this level on the internet. Like if I'm accusing somebody of being a pedo, I'm not trying to do 20 posts on Instagram of like, see, this is when he's with little Lisa and she's 14. See, like as now I'm in a big messy situation. Like I don't know if I ever want to be involved in something like that. But if you ever are, and if you're ever going to do that, you got to have some truth and you got to have some facts behind you, or you should, right? Dixon falsely made hyena's post about Cartagena's wife. You really don't care that the safari grass back 3-inch pink slimy king jerk chicken spot. Yeah, he was going in on social media. This guy. This is him posting like little funny AI pictures of Joe while still claiming that he's a pedo and whatnot in some of the exhibits. I'm just saying, Joe, you came with 25 pages. They came with 157. I'm just saying. All right, we've exhausted the Fat Joe thing. I didn't know it was that much. I didn't know it was that deep. Whoa. It's 11 a.m., man. I'm tired of that. I got some other stuff. I'll save it for tomorrow. Close out stuff. I'll still do the music and the movie stuff. I'm tired, y'all. That shit exhausted me. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tired. We 3 hours and I'm tired. I'm tired. Music wise. Speaking of Joe, real quick. Once again, still shout out to Joe, man. I ain't throwing him under the bus. The paperwork looked very scary. Nobody would have to fight that stuff, but there's a lot of stuff in there. Every man deserves his day in court. I ain't saying neither one of them is right or wrong right now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Joe. I've always been a supporter, man. I've always been a supporter. I got the All or Nothing album. I've been here. I've been here all the years. I've been here, Joe. Jealous ones still envy. I've been here. I've been here, Mr. Cartagena. I've been here. I was here. You know what I'm saying? Joe, I was here. I was here, man. And none of y'all got this. I was here. I was here. When was this? What year was this released? This was 1993. It could be people watching the stream that weren't even born yet. 1993. I was there, man. I was there. You know what I'm saying? You don't even got a mustache in this picture, do you? Yeah, like I was there, homie. You know what I'm saying?